Hello watch fans, this is Anders here on Watch On channel. Today the full review of a very cool vintage inspired mechanical chronograph from the Swiss brand NIVADA GRENCHEN. This is a brand that was very big in the 50s and the 60s. It kind of went dead like a lot of other Swiss brands, and then they got the brand revived. Now they are releasing these super cool vintage inspired chronograph watches, the Chronomaster. I got one of these watches in for review. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It is a very big help to keep this channel going. So it comes in this nice leather box, at least it feels like leather. Looks very vintage. You see the NIVADA GRENCHEN logo here, and here the name in gold. This watch is in for review on loan. I'm going to send it back, so full disclosure on that, of course. Before we see the watch, just a very cool detail. The inside of the top part of the box here shows the Chronomaster, the broad arrow, which is the one I'm going to review, and then the story about the watch. And here we have the watch. So again, this is the NIVADA GRENCHEN Aviator Sea Diver, the Chronomaster. This is the broad arrow, and this is the manually wound. You can also find an automatic version if you want the automatic movement. It's a little more expensive than the manual wound, and then you can choose between a lot of different straps. This is of course not a vintage watch. It is almost a complete remake of the original NIVADA GRENCHEN Chronomaster. So here the watch is out of the box, and two things strikes me. It is a very true to the original design and layout and look version of the original Chronomaster. I think it looks really warm, very vintagey, if that's really a word. And the other thing is the size. So usually with some of these remake watches, they tend the different watch companies to make the watches a tad too big. For example, they often make them like 42 or 44 millimeters. Here you get 38.6 millimeters, perfect dimension. Really brave and nice that you have a company like NIVADA GRENCHEN making these smaller vintage inspired mechanical chronographs. 13.8 millimeters in thickness, so rather thick. 20 millimeter lug width, so you can easily put on other straps, and it is a strap monster. And then you get a very nice 46.5 millimeters, and the crown here, it is 6.9 millimeters. So all in all, really nice dimensions. Inside of this watch, which again is the manually wound version, which is priced at $1,795 US, we find the Sellita 510 mechanical manual wound chronograph movement, which has 63 hours of power reserve and beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour. You can see here with the dial layout, you do get a running seconds here at 9 o'clock. Then you get a typical layout of 3 hands, so the chronograph hand here placed at 12 o'clock, the very pointy sword style minute hand here, and then this little fat arrow hour hand. And then here at 3 o'clock you get the 30-minute countdown. So let's start the chronograph. The interesting thing with this subdial is that you have a countdown of 5. So if you want to count down from 5 minutes, it's the red part. So you will see just in a few moments, like 45 seconds actually now, it will actually tick down. So let's just talk very briefly about the dial. Very nice, kind of glossy, deep, dark black dial. NIVADA GRENCHEN Chronomaster Aviator Sea Diver printed to the dial here. Then you have the vintage inspired cream colored hour markings. Then you have a tachymeter on the outer part, and of course the 2 subdials here. So let's just have a look at the loom before we see it count down. I'm not super happy with the Swiss loom here. It does an okay job, but it's not super good, so that could be a room for improvement. And now let's just notice the red part here. There we go, you see the little subdial here. It just ticks down. Now it's 4 minutes left of our 5-minute countdown. So the crystal is sapphire crystal, but it's really well made. It looks so much like a warm plexi or acrylic crystal, plastic crystal like on the old watches from back in the days in the 60s. It is actually a sapphire crystal. I think they did an extremely nice job with this distortion. It just really makes me feel like I'm actually holding an old vintage watch in my hands. You have a aluminium bezel insert here, and it is a bidirectional bezel with no resistance, no clicks. So very vintage inspired. You can of course just turn it like a dive watch bezel. This is of course also called the Aviator sea diver. That is because this watch actually has 100 meters of water resistance. So let's just look at the red subdial again. Now we have another tick down. There you go, 3 minutes left. The case is made in 316L stainless steel. Really nice case design. I really like the brushing here. Just gives a tool watch vintage inspired feel and look. And then you have these very nice angles here on the locks, which are high polish. Looks really good. Drill lock holes, so important. Very easy to change straps, of course, but also a really vintage inspired thing to have. Then you have the case back, very simple, with all the information you need, individually numbered. 10 atmospheres, 100 meters of water resistance, Inca block shock resistance system. Here we see the Italian leather strap from the other side, from the back side. Easy removal spring bars. Signed pin buckle here. Let's have a look at the accuracy. So I'm very impressed with this Sellita 510 manual wound mechanical movement. So between 5 and 7 seconds plus per day is really good at this price point. And I'm really happy that I chose the manual wound movement to test out. I think the manual wound movement is just the right vintage movement to have in these watches, just like for example the Speedmaster Professional. I really enjoy my Speedmaster Professional with the manual wound movement. The movement again has 63 hours of power reserve, so you do get a lot more power reserve if you choose the manual wound compared to the automatic movement. But have a look at the website. You can find a lot of different versions of the Chronomaster, different dial layouts, different colors, and of course you can choose between a lot of different straps. And just before I put on the watch on my wrist and conclude this review, you can see the Chronomaster here from NIVADA GRENCHEN compared to the 42.5mm big Karlskrona Hemlig watch. I just did the full review of this watch. You can find the link down in the description up in the right hand corner. This is what 38.5mm looks like compared to 42.5mm, so you can definitely see the difference. And let's also have the weight before I put the watch on my wrist. So less than 80 grams on the leather strap. That's really nice. It wears really comfortable on the wrist. On my 17.5 centimeter wrist circumference, you can see it wears perfectly. It just really feels like a vintage watch. It looks and it feels like a vintage watch, again, because they decided to be brave and keep these smaller sizes instead of beefing up the case dimension with 42 or 43 or 44 millimeters. I really applaud NIVADA GRENCHEN for this choice. A little bit thick with 14 millimeters almost, but I think I can easily pull it off and it doesn't feel too thick. And also just consider that maybe 2.5 or 3 millimeters of the thickness is actually this very highly domed sapphire crystal. I did review another version some time ago of this watch. That was the Orange Boy. And back then, I believe I said that I think that this NIVADA GRENCHEN Chronomaster watch is one of the best options if you want a vintage-inspired, modern, Swiss-made chronograph watch. And I definitely stand by my words. I even like this one more. I think the broad arrow just looks really great. And below $2,000 for what you get here, I think it's a good deal. So definitely look into this if you're looking for a very warm, vintage-inspired chronograph. Of course, it's not perfect, and my biggest disappointment is, of course, the lume. I think they should definitely have done more with the lume, because when you call a watch a sea diver, you definitely expect better lume. Crown action and the pushers is really great. I would have preferred a screw down crown, but still you get 100 meters of water resistance, so that's perfectly fine. I believe it's the right choice to choose an aluminum bezel insert. A ceramic simply would look too modern, too shiny for a vintage inspired watch. It wears a little bit thick, so that would be my other gripe. Other than that, I think at the price you get a really great watch. It is all about if you want these remakes, these homages to older watches. It is the same company, but it's a revived version of the old NIVADA GRENCHEN company, but they do a really great job. So I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down in the description, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, share this video on Facebook and Instagram and wherever you share videos and watch content, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.